A U.S. military base gets attacked and a U.S. ship has to intercept missiles. We'll get to that here in this video, as well as the House of Representatives fails a third vote where they try to elect Republican Representative Jim Jordan from Ohio. He actually got less votes the third time around, as I was surprised they even did a third vote, as we thought they were going to just elect the interim speaker for the rest of the year. Instead, they went ahead and tried to elect Jim Jordan for a third time, and he got less votes again, trying it again here. So the Republicans are not on the same page, and it's not looking good. So again, we have no Speaker of the House. Also, the U.S. vetoed a ceasefire for Israel and Gaza. Take a listen to what the U.S. United Nations spokesperson had to say on this.
We are on the ground doing the hard work of diplomacy. And while we recognize Brazil's desire to move this text forward, we believe we need to let that diplomacy play out, especially when Secretary General Guterres, President Biden, Secretary Blinken, and regional actors are engaged in intensive dialogue on the very issues we are deliberating on today. Yes, resolutions are important, and yes, this council must speak out, but the actions we take must be informed by the facts on the ground and support direct diplomacy efforts that can save lives. The council needs to get this right. The United States is disappointed this resolution made no mention of Israel's rights of self-defense. The United States is horrified and saddened by yesterday's explosion at the Ali Arab Hospital in Gaza. We mourn this tragic loss of life. On the humanitarian front, we are working with Israel, its neighbors, the United Nations, and other partners to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. It is critical that food, medicine, water, and fuel begin flowing into Gaza as soon as possible. Families, the elderly, and children are in dire need. Let's be clear. Hamas's own actions have brought this on, this severe humanitarian crisis in Gaza. And Hamas has caused so much needless suffering, death, and destruction. Every member state should condemn Hamas's terrorism and cruelty, and every member state should call on Hamas to cease its endless barrage of rockets against Israel. This is not complicated. It's not controversial. This is the bare minimum.
Brazil brought this resolution forward. Remember, they're an ally to Russia, part of the BRICS alliance. And remember that Russia won't do a ceasefire. So you guys can let me know your thoughts on this. Remember, Israel defending itself is still from the attacks of Hamas. So you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments section. Also, the U.S. undergoing attacks here today. And we are now dangerously close to being pulled into a Middle East war. Two different instances. First one here. Drones attack a U.S. military base in southern Syria, and there are minor injuries, U.S. officials say. Two U.S. officials tell the Associated Press that a military base in southern Syria, where U.S. troops have maintained a presence to train forces as part of a broad campaign against the Islamic State group, was attacked by drones. This is just the first instance. I'll tell you about the second instance here on a ship in a second. A military base in southern Syria where U.S. troops have maintained a presence to train forces as part of a broad campaign against the Islamic State group was attacked by drones, two U.S. officials told the AP. One drone was shot down, but another caused in minor injuries, said one of the officials who spoke and wanted to remain anonymous to discuss the matter before the official announcement about the incident. The attacks follow similar drone strikes over the past few days against the U.S. and coalition bases in Iraq as well, amid simmering anger in the region after an explosion at the Gaza hospital killed hundreds of people. So you can see there's multiple things going on here. In addition to this, just happening here today as well, U.S. Navy warship near Yemen intercepts multiple missiles, U.S. officials say. A U.S. Navy warship operating in the Middle East intercepted multiple projectiles near the coast of Yemen. One of the officials said the missiles were fired by Iranian-backed Houthi militants who are engaged in an ongoing conflict in Yemen. Approximately 2 to 3 missiles were intercepted, according to the second official. Later Thursday, Pentagon Press Secretary Brigadier General Pat Ryder confirmed that the USS Carney shot down 3 land attack missiles as well as several drones that were launched by Iran-backed Houthi forces in Yemen. So this is 2 different ships having to shoot down missiles and drone attacks. U.S. ships having to shoot these down. Quote, this action was a demonstration of the integrated air and missile defense architecture that we built in the Middle East and that we are prepared to utilize whenever necessary to protect our partners and our interests in this important region, he said at a news briefing. There were no casualties to U.S. forces and none that we know of to any civilians on the ground. Ryder said that the Pentagon cannot say for certain at this point what the missiles and drones were targeting, but said they were launched from Yemen and were heading north along the Red Sea, potentially towards targets in Israel. The USS Carney transited through the Suez Canal and into the Red Sea on Wednesday. U.S. Fleet Forces Command said in a social media post that it would, quote, help ensure maritime security and stability in the Middle East. And on Tuesday, U.S. forces defended against 3 drones near U.S. coalition forces in Iraq. 2 of the drones targeted the Al-Assad air base, which resulted in minor injuries to the coalition forces. And in northern Iraq, near Bashur Air Base, U.S. forces engaged and destroyed a drone, resulting in no injuries or damage. Because of literally just a fraction of all this stuff going on, President Biden is seeking $105 billion for defense of all this type of stuff here. Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and border security. The request comes with Congress business at a standstill as House Republicans battle each other over who should be Speaker. As you can see here, we are pretty much at war here. We're defending attacks, whether they're being shot at U.S. military bases, U.S. ships, or on behalf of Israel. These are trying times, to say the least. And Israel, who has been an ally pretty much since Israel has been formed, and these are now, we are, wow. I mean, you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments, but this is going to be, this is just the start of it. I mean, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu has said this is probably going to go on for months, for months. Also, you got to think here, the ground invasion that they're doing is going to be very, very you almost got to think, is it worth it? Should they even go into these tunnels? That seems like it's going to be very difficult, and they're going to lose a lot of lives doing that. You almost got to think, you got to think that there is these 200 prisoners there, prisoners of war, hostages. But I really got to think they're going to lose more lives trying to go in there and do that. I almost think it's going to be worse than trying to trying to get them back. It almost would be better to just try to negotiate for them or something. I feel like they're going to lose more lives than they are trying to go into those tunnels. Those tunnels are just, it's going to be a kill zone in there. It's, for lack of a better word. You can let me know your thoughts on this, but I don't think it's going to be a good idea to go in those tunnels. Not to mention, they're some of them are going to be booby trapped. I mean, they're just going to have explosives there waiting for them. Imagine sending troops into those tunnels with explosives just waiting there to be detonated, and then they're going to cave in. It's not going to be good. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll keep you up to date. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any new videos. Don't forget to like and share these videos. Click here to see my new video. North Korea has infiltrated the US and mask mandates are back. Or click here to see my newest video next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.